Call the meeting to order. The first item on our agenda this evening is roll call. Christy is running late. John?
Here.
Chris?
Here.
Sharon here. Sonia is going to be absent this evening. All right. And then we will move on to approval of the agenda of this evening's meeting. Does anyone have any recommendations or want to move approval?
Motion to approve tonight's.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right. Is anyone new to us this evening? Do I need to go over all of our communications and protocols? Okay. I won't spend any time going over them, but they are on the agenda. We encourage everyone to be respectful and make the meeting useful for everyone who's taken the time to come out this evening and participate. So we will move on to public comment on items not on the agenda. Can I see the hands of those who'd like to speak? Okay, just two? All right, 3? Okay, if you could limit your comments to 3 minutes each, I'd appreciate it.
So I was trying to go through all your board docs, and I couldn't find anything about the Walton Family Foundation grant that you got, or the Reed Hastings Netflix whatever grant, and want to know where those documentation is, if that's available, and then when you discussed that at the meeting previously or any meeting, and then are you currently pursuing more grants? And if yes, when is the board discussing those? And then are you going to be filing a material revision October 6th in October for 6th to 8th grade online programming? I also have one more item. In your estimated budget back from, I think it was from June, you stated that you'd have about $306,300 in your account, and I believe as of last week you only had about $214. So it's kind of curious how you could be sort of miscalculated about $90,000. Just something I'd like to know. And one more thing. Although I respect Con's math, I would like to hear from some of the other people, because I think that's a pretty huge number to sort of be way off on.
Thank you.
Oh, my question is just about your waiting list. It seems like you have a fair amount of room in your rooms, and I'm wondering if you're taking people off, like why you even have a waiting list and why you're not taking kids off of it.
Okay.
I don't know if you can talk about it because I don't think it came up in time to be on the agenda, but tonight the district is talking about giving the space that was the court said that they should provide for special ed. In the district board docs, it says something about that space being used for our special day classes. And I was wondering if that was a plan that we had to provide special day classes, or how we would use that space if we are not providing special day classes.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone want to try to answer any of those questions? Some of them actually are going to come
I'll
up.
answer the financial ones.
And we're going to have a budget discussion later too, so.
So, the Walton Foundation grant was brought to the board in the spring. I don't know which meeting, you can go back and look, April or May, and it was approved by the board. And it's in the financials.
But was it discussed at any of these meetings?
Yeah, I just said, it
After
was,
the fact, after you had done it, I think it was like March that you announced it.
Okay, well, I'm going to not encourage a lot of back and forth. We're just trying to answer the questions that were asked.
That's not an answer.
All right.
so that I'm done.
All right.
There's a question about an online program, material revision. That's something we discussed. There's some parents who discussed opening up some kind of 6th, 7th, or 8th grade program, and that's not something that's happening for us. So we're not going to do it. We just want to focus on our program. the waiting list, we're in the process of offering spots. Part of the issue is people are offered spots, they have a few days to accept the spots, so it's a constant rolling process. Special day class, so Meryl is asking about the district's offer of space potentially at Hidden Valley for a special day class. We currently don't offer a special day class. The district does, I believe it's at Brookside. Their program, if you're a student, say at Manor, and your IEP calls for a special day class, you'd be reassigned to Brookside, and then you'd have typically a general ed classroom teacher there, and have access to the special day classroom for some percentage of the day. Depends upon the IEP. It wouldn't make sense for us to have a special day class at a different site if we had one, because our kids wouldn't have any access to a general ed classroom during that time. Right now, we're not planning on having a special day class. We serve our special ed students in a multitude of ways, depending upon the needs. We do have kids here who were in special day classes at other schools previously, but here are served without a special day class. Different ways of serving needs. But that classroom could be used in, or room could be used in a variety of ways, depending upon what the needs are. Right now, we have a lot of our needs served in hallway or what sometimes is the conference rooms, other times the after care room, other times the art room, other times my office. So it depends upon what the needs are and what that space looks like.
Right. So I'm gonna move us along to our next agenda item, which is information and the school director's report.
So for enrollment, total enrolled is 159. That's actually just bumped up to 160. But regarding the sheet that's in front of us, 121 of those 159 are in district residents. 24% are out of district. We have right now it says our in-district EL is 11, but that's not accounting for new kids who are likely to be classified. So that number is going to increase, probably more than double. Free and reduced price lunch, it has a 23. That number is potentially going to be about double that as we get informed from families. So we have, actually does have it here at 40. So that's our enrollment snapshot. I was planning on having a presentation on inquiry-based learning, but seeing that we kind of need to dash to another board meeting soon, I was going to save that for later. But just as a hint of that discussion, we did a lot of work over the summer and at the end of the school year with the teachers, myself, to develop two strong legs of our schools. One is our social emotional learning program, and the other is our based learning program. So you can kind of see some of the things around here that are hints to that, like the class agreements in here that you see some blending of mindfulness in here. Over there you'll see posters about noticing and wondering. You'll see stuff like that in all the classrooms, but I'll be talking more about that at our next board meeting. Otherwise, we've had a nice, smooth start to the school year. It's been great to see the teachers just kind of see the benefits of the multi-age program as they know half their kids as they're coming in, and the other kids just kind of slide right into the class culture.
Thank you. Okay, are there any other board or staff updates? Okay, so no one, we'll move on to our general agenda items. The first item is the approval of our unaudited actuals for fiscal year 17-18. And this is pretty common for boards to take a look at their prior year after going through and taking one final cleanup over the summer months, so I'm gonna.
So that's been done, and report here is pretty comprehensive. I compared with the March budget, first 5 pages. And then there's a variety of income statements, which I explained in the narrative, why we have those, what they are, and the balance sheet. And we predicted in March. We predicted in June that our ending balance for the year would be $128,550, and in fact it was $146,483. So $54,000 higher than we projected in the budget. So we're starting off this year with $54,000 more in the beginning balance than we projected. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay. Are there any questions at the board level?
And the certification process, which required us to fill out a form, an alternate form. The charter schools don't use the complicated SAS accounting that and software for budget for financial reporting that districts use. There's an alternative form. We use that. And it's represented by the balance sheet and the unrestricted. The restricted, it starts on page, the unrestricted starts on page 10, and the restricted, which starts, page 13. So that's, but it's much more summary level than this here. And that, I emailed that off yesterday morning, and I mailed the wet, they require a wet certification that has to go to the authorizer, back to the county, and back to the CD by Friday.
Okay. So that's part of our memorandum of understanding with the state and the deadlines.
I think, I don't know if it's in the memorandum of understanding or it's in the statutes. I can't remember. It's probably in the statutes.
15th is the deadline, yeah.
I think all charter schools use that process. It's technically true.
Okay. Any other questions up here before I go to public comment?
When do the auditors get involved?
I think soon after, I think probably in a week or so, after Friday, I think they go to Ed Tech.
Yep.
I mean, we met with them in May, Luke and I did. And they will go to Ed Tech and do a lot of the sampling, because everything is there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll come here and work with Luke and the audit committee.
Okay.
And I anticipate that in
Thanks.
Okay, so I will go out for public comment, and I see a show of hands of how many people would like to comment on this particular item. 2? Just 2 people?
Well, I just have questions about your enrollment. So are you gonna do material revision? I mean, since your enrollment is significantly less.
It's actually not this topic, but
Oh, okay.
yeah. Do you have any budget questions?
No, no, okay.
So maybe I can form that because it leads into my question. Is the budget assuming 185 student enrollment for the year?
So we're looking at, oh,
Wait until he's
Okay.
done with his question.
All right. is that it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're talking about the multi-year out projection out.
He's talking about this coming, he's talking about the 18-19 budget, which we passed in June.
Great. Okay. So I think we have answered all the questions there, so the next item, and welcome Christy.
Thank you.
We are just about to take action on the unaudited actuals. Did you have any other questions or
I did, just a couple little things. Just a few things. I wondered how much, and it actually just makes me think about our future funding, like the federal programs. We missed some funding last year for the free lunch program. Is that a program that we've been able to take advantage of this year?
It's in process, it's a multi-month process, but it's in process.
Okay, great. And then utilities, we had a bunch of utilities costs that were unexpected. Is that something we budgeted for this year?
Yes.
Okay, great. And then there's just a little confusing thing on after school, or there's something called enrichment, and the numbers in the budget on that were different than the after school.
Right, so there's
Is that a different program?
There's,
Is enrichment different than
well,
after school?
we have a resource or a cost center called before and after care.
Yeah.
And in that, there are two programs. There's before and after care, excuse me.
Comparison.
Before and after daycare
Yeah.
is, it's all in the same cost center, but you can tell which is which mostly because of the way the expenses are laid out. I mean, like the employees in the classified section, actually there's expenses in both there.
Mm-hmm.
But I know which is which. And then there's,
But so in the unaudited financials, the one that says enrichment is a different.
that is the after school program.
Okay,
And there's enrichment revenue,
Yeah.
and there's daycare revenue.
got it.
And then there are enrichment expenses and daycare expenses, but they're all in the same cost center.
Okay,
So I kind of know which one, how each one did.
Uh-huh.
I can create a report on that. It's kind of a manual work that I didn't create two cost centers.
do you think it makes sense to keep them together like that moving forward, or should we segregate them?
We could segregate them. The reason to keep them together is because what's important is that we run a surplus
Yeah,
and not a deficit.
yeah,
And if they're all together, then if one of them is a surplus and the other is a
they
deficit,
can balance each other.
they balance each other out.
Okay, there was one other thing I noticed is,
I can break it out for kind of manual reporting purposes, because I can tell who's doing what.
okay, and then I just noticed there were some unexpected costs for like the North State JPA, which is a kind of a big line item.
Yeah, I
wonder
just
if we
forgot,
anticipated that.
no, we did, and I
this
just,
year?
somehow I did not, it was in the original budget.
Yeah.
And when we went to do the March revision.
Yep.
Somehow it just didn't get in there, I really don't know, I can go back and look and see why.
Okay, but we have it at
It's
least
gone.
nailed down moving
Yeah,
forward.
there's no expense going forward.
Okay.
Terminated our religion.
Okay, got it. Okay, those were my key things.
Okay. So do I hear a motion for approval of the unaudited actuals for fiscal 17-18?
I move to approve the unaudited actuals for 17-18.
I second. Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll move on to our next agenda item, which is the debit card policy. And after a little consideration of making sure that we have a little bit of flexibility for our school director and office manager to make some purchases that need to be made at the last minute, or things like food or so on, that generally most schools would have a petty cash fund for. It makes the most sense for us to set up a debit card that can be used for those kinds of last minute purchases with a very limited amount of money to access, so that we can allow them that flexibility to make those kind of purchases. And it's pretty typical for most school districts to have something like that, but this doesn't leave a lot of cash around. It's
Yeah,
just
and what we're doing now is people are using their credit cards
right,
for,
getting
Sharon
reimbursed
or
and
I
so
or
on.
Luke or Elizabeth using their personal credit card for some of the expense, which creates a delay, so.
As an example of things that could be used for this debit card, fun example, our school lunch program forgot mayonnaise the other day. So I had to go out and buy mayonnaise. Just
Nice to have something
Yeah.
you can go out and take
a
care of.
simple, easy.
And the temptation is they're not expensive, because it's so small.
Yeah.
Keeping track of a piece of paper, and this way, if it's a card, it's all tracked at the bank level, and there's a really good tracking system. You don't have a problem yet with petty cash, which is cash, and can just appear and disappear without any trace, but everything that's spent with a debit card is logged.
And then we can reimburse the account for those funds and you're putting it to the appropriate
Right.
cost.
So the process will be, monthly, we'll get a statement for both cards, the bank statement will, be able to identify the transactions, and I'll make sure that we get receipts from the cardholder, and then I'll expense those transactions after the to the right account. It's a much cleaner, and we could do a credit card, but it just seems that there's no reason to do that.
Are there any questions at the board level about that?
I do have a question, so just to clarify, it's just gonna be Luke and our ops manager Elizabeth who have the authorization to use it, looks like,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, and we could have one card, but then it happens from time to time that somebody has to go buy mayonnaise. And it's not great to have somebody else using the card. So
Right.
Yeah, and
this
it
way,
will have
if-
their name on the
if
card.
everybody has it.
And then, the only other thought is just $2,000 is a pretty high purchase amount actually, like I doubt you'd ever spend anywhere close to that on mayonnaise or like kind of last minute thing, right? So just wondering how you all will make decisions moving forward about using this card, in cases, like it may become tempting to use it for, as an alternative to a purchase order.
Well, anything would go through Luke,
Yeah.
That's fine.
And that's covered in the policy. It can't be used when a purchase order or a check can be.
More
done.
typically, it's gonna be ordering pizzas for childcare when we have an event, something like that.
It doesn't really say when it should or should not be used, except for cases it shouldn't, like shouldn't exceed $2,000.
Well, it also says it shouldn't be used for an annual check or a purchase order.
That's what I just
So in
wanted
the
to know.
third paragraph, the card should not be used to bypass established purchasing procedures, including advanced approval processes. The use of should be minimal and frequent. And so it says when you need to purchase goods and services, either in person or online, when a purchase order cannot be approved in time, or when a vendor will not accept the purchase order check. And like last year, there were many times when we had to buy, like we started 2 classrooms, we had to buy rugs, we had to buy desks.
IKEA furniture,
And so you can't use, they don't deal with purchase orders and checks, they deal with electronic
Got it.
visa. So somebody, Sharon or I or Luke, did it and then submitted an expense, and I guess it's just a faster, easier way, and that's why the 2,000 is there. Sharon put 1,000, I put 2, because we have pretty good control, and it says if it's over $200, you have to get an email. If it's Elizabeth, it is over $200, she said to get an email from 2 people. Luke is an authorized signer, so when we should get one other.
Yep.
And that keeps us within our 2 signatures required process. And this is another advantage of having a debit card, because
You can set a firm limit on a debit card or something.
yeah.
And it also gives us the flexibility if there is a big purchase to allow for time to reimburse the account and not have it.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy for me to, they're all the accounts for West America. This is the account that was originally set up just for PCS tracking before we had an accounting system. And we don't use it anymore. So it's just sitting there.
But, we do have the flexibility still of determining an amount. We haven't said anything up yet, so we can all feel comfortable.
Yeah, if the board wants to do 1,000, I have no problem with that. Just
I'm fine with it, I actually think it's worse to expect staff to just accept big charges on their personal cards. I think that's more onerous and unreasonable. So if there are urgent needs that can sometimes be large, I think it's reasonable, as long as we have good.
I don't think we've had anything with it.
Any more questions up here at the board level? I'll go out for public comment. Is there anyone who wants to comment on this item? Seeing no one, then I will bring it back up for a motion for approval. Is there a motion for approval?
Move to approve the debit card policy.
Okay,
Second?
okay, John and Chris, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The next item on our agenda this evening is a report regarding our nominating committee for our, oops, did I skip one?
You skipped.
Oh, the after, sorry, put it on the wrong item, that's why.
I must have, even though I don't have a child going to daycare.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay, so the next item on the agenda then is our policy on a staff discount for before and after care. Again, this is something that we brought forward because we think it's really important for our staff members who have children to be able to stay at the end of the day or come a little bit early if they need to be able to either meet with parents, do work that they need to do, prepare for lesson planning and so on. And this makes it affordable for them so that they can stay and do that work and not feel like they have to leave because they need to go pick up their child. So we're bringing this proposal forward to offer the same rate that we offer to our free and reduced families for these services.
And we have 9 staff kids at the school. I have no 8. So there are several families, including myself. That's why, if I could vote, I wouldn't vote. But if we have our Wednesday staff meetings and we have single parents, it's hard to find childcare, and we're charging full price for childcare for our own families.
Are there any questions or comments at the board level? No? Okay.
We haven't had a policy before, so it's good to
No.
have a policy.
Yeah. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing no one, I will bring it back up for a motion for approval.
I have a question.
Sorry, missed it.
So, to be clear on that number, that includes not just teaching staff, but other staff as well?
Yeah. Office, everyone.
Any employees. Thank you for the clarification. Do I hear a motion for approval?
Move to approve the policy on staff discount for an applicant.
Okay, second? I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, our next agenda item is a report, oops, we should go get Chris back. Okay, so this next agenda item is a report out on our nominating committee. We discussed this back in June, I think, on the 12th, and the board appointed Christy and myself to nominate a successor to Sonia Stanley, and we met and we would like to nominate Sonia Stanley to continue in her board service because the bylaws require 7 days between the nomination and the election. The election will actually take place at our next board meeting. But as was mentioned back in June, when someone's term expires, they can continue to serve in that position until a successor is elected. So she is continuing to serve in that position until we have our election at the next meeting where we'll bring forward her nomination. So is there any board discussion?
I think we're lucky to have her.
We're not taking any action on this item, but is there any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing no one, then I will move us along to our next agenda item, which is our board meeting schedule for the remainder of this year. As it turns out, we had our meetings scheduled and the Ross Valley School District changed the night of their meetings, and so we would prefer not to have our meetings on the same evening as theirs, since there may be occasional meetings where we want to attend their meetings, or members of the audience may want to attend both meetings. So we're bringing forward a recommendation to change those dates that we have on our schedule that conflict with their schedule. If we put some recommended dates down here where we could possibly change our meeting dates to. So I don't know if anyone had a chance to take a look at any of those recommended dates to see if they conflict.
I think the first question is Tuesday a good night? Yeah, I
Not
don't
for
think it's
you.
any good for
Okay.
Christie anymore,
Okay,
so I
so
think
maybe
we
we
ought to
can pick another night.
pick another night.
Okay.
What, is there a night that's better for
Monday,
you?
Wednesdays and Fridays are better for
It's
childcare.
Wednesdays and Fridays.
Friday's not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Mondays could do. Wednesday's rarely having a staff meeting, so it'd be kind of nice to have another meeting after that.
So the one thing that we don't have is Sonia here to kind of weigh in on hers, so I do know that the earlier date in October wouldn't have worked for her, so maybe what we could tentatively do is set up our next one for, do we wanna make it the Monday, the 15th?
No, I just heard.
So how about October 17th?
Well, wait a minute, so are we gonna,
Just set one for now, so we know when our next one is, and then maybe we'll bring it back on
okay,
that meeting to set the rest of them.
Yeah,
All right.
I'll look at our calendar for
And again, part of the reason that it wasn't mentioned, for doing this is the Ross Valley School District changed their board meetings to Tuesdays, which overlap with some ours.
Maybe we're gonna have to do it offline and try to come up with a date. Yeah.
poll or something.
We know that we need to change it, but we're gonna have to figure out
I'll contact Sonia and then send out a
a proposed.
doodle of.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then we bring it back.
So
at our next
basically,
meeting.
if Sonia can't do Monday for some reason, is Wednesdays, although, the kids are all gone now, so, is Wednesdays, is anybody have a problem with Wednesdays?
There's a lot of meeting time.
Oh, that's right, you just said,
And we'll have sometimes events and things that will conflict, so we're just gonna have to kind of figure out. Once we figure out what date, it'll have to be a Monday or Wednesday, I would imagine Friday's not gonna be our ideal meeting night, so we can.
and
figure it out.
7:30 works as a time, right?
Yeah. So our main goal then will be to set up an October time that we know works for everyone, and then at that meeting, we can go through and review the rest of the year and set up the remainder of the dates, so.
Could we consider starting any earlier? While we were doing those Q&As.
Yeah, I was hoping that maybe
It's
I
6:30,
could
we're gonna
do a
continue
few
doing
of
that?
those still, yeah.
If we
Sometimes we
wind
have
up,
a-
if we land on Mondays, then I could do earlier, because I guaranteed childcare on Monday. On other nights, we don't necessarily until later.
So then we'll look at your Monday schedule and see what we can figure out, and maybe just the first couple of months we do it on a different day and then go to Mondays, so we'll figure it out. But we'll have to figure out for that week in October what makes the most sense. And we'll post that as soon as we know the dates so that people know as far in advance as possible. Is there any public comment on this agenda item? Okay, seeing no one, then I will move us along to our next agenda item, which is our school calendar. And after we set the school calendar last year, we found out that the district was going to schedule January 7th as a professional development day, and so some of our students go to both our school and district schools, and we're trying to work with families so that they have the least issues to deal with their children, and so we're bringing back a slight change to the school calendar here where they can have, that will be a work day instead, and it will mesh with the other calendars of the families who have children in both districts.
So just took a work day off June 18th and moved it to January.
So the students will still have the same number of days and everything. Okay, any comment at the board level?
Well, I was curious about that because I felt like those 2 days, even though, it's nice to start summer, those 2 days in a row were really nice in June. And I felt it was really productive if we had 2 days. And I know usually the day right after school is really a clean up your classroom kind of day, not a staff development day. So, just a comment. It was nice to have that time together.
Well, is there any problem with just having 11 teacher days then? So if you left the 18th, then you could still have 2 days at the end of school.
It's one more day than they're contracted for.
Yeah, they're contracted for 8. So we're adding 2 days already. So it's just, it's a per diem.
It's a cost.
I don't know what it is, something that may have $2,000.
It's fine, you don't need to pay that money, but I'm just commenting that it was really nice having those couple of days in the summer when everybody's relaxed, we're not thinking about, we gotta get ready for kids the next day.
And for future calendar planning, we should definitely keep that in mind too.
Okay, is there any public comments before we vote on this item? Yes.
Just a quick question. I noticed there's no listing in here about when the student enrollment lotteries happen, and I was curious if there's going to be more enrollment this year, given that there's excess capacity in the wait list.
I don't know that really is related to school calendar.
Wouldn't it be something you'd tell your parents about if there was going to be additional lottery sales?
Well,
This calendar's only just for days on
Right.
and days off.
Yeah.
Just to answer your question real quick, lotteries happen whenever we have more kids applying for spots than exist.
Okay, so
Otherwise, it's just rolling enrollment.
why the wait list?
Like I said earlier, the wait list is being worked through.
okay, so I'll bring it back up for a motion for approval.
Move to approve the change to the school calendar.
Okay, is there a second? I'll second. Oh, Christie. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We'll move on to our consent agenda. And this is our minutes from the meeting of June 26th for the personnel update. Does anyone need to pull anything off the consent agenda? Or make any comments? Any public comment on the consent agenda? All right, seeing no one, then I'll hear a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, Chris and John, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, future meeting needs and topics. Does anyone have anything specifically they'd like to bring up for a future meeting topic that they think we might miss otherwise?
Well, it'd be good to see the test scores from last year.
Okay.
And the inquiry.
Everybody's learning, okay. Alright. Alright, anything else?
That it would be nice to, just along the lines of testing from last year, and then also we have the new end of the year and testing that we're doing to understand where kids start out. I'd love to have some kind of presentation about where we are with that and what we're learning from that.
Okay, great. And then this next agenda item is our meeting review and evaluation. We still need to discuss our annual self-evaluation at some point. We don't have that prepared for this evening, so that will be a future meeting item. And then this evening's meeting, does anyone want to comment on any recommendations for how we can improve our process?
I think we broke all records for
Well, we're trying to get everyone to the other meeting that they want to go to, so. All right, seeing no one else, I will adjourn our meeting at 7:08. Thank you, everyone, for coming.